Hey everybody, welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
And we're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee to bring you our big show featuring a bunch of upcoming comics that you can pre-order and you don't miss out on anything when you head into your local comic book store or you receive all of your comics in the mail.
That's right. So we want to let you know before we get started that we are recording this on Wednesday, just like we did last week. That's not going to be our plan going forward, but it just so happens that these last couple weeks, our Fridays,
holiday,
yeah, Fridays have been a
stuff.
little bit busy. So, but we will get back to recording on Friday soon. But with all that said, we wanted to mention it because it is possible that a few things that we mention in this video may end up not being on final order cutoff by the time you go to order your books this weekend. That doesn't mean that you won't be able to pre-order them. It just means that the deadline to do that may actually get extended a week or two. So if something does change, it's actually in your favor because you'll even have even more time to order it. But we wanted to go ahead, just because we couldn't do it on Friday, we didn't want to leave you without some awesome comics to look at, let you know about that you can pre-order. So yeah, so just in case you see something change, that's why.
Your pre-order doesn't change. You pre-order it now, you pre-order it then, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You've got it unlocked, so you'll be good. So let's go to our featured comics. I'm really excited about this week's featured comics. There's some really good ones, starting with one I'm very excited about.
That's right, Cobra Commander. This is the first of a 5-issue miniseries. So we've got Transformers, we've got Duke coming very soon, and then this is the next one of those. The rise of Cobra begins here because in this new Energon universe, the Transformers, we only have just met them for the first time. In the Duke book, G.I. Joe, I guess, hasn't quite been formed yet. And in this book, Cobra hasn't really been formed yet either. So this is about Cobra Commander. We were just talking if there's no Cobra, is he just Commander? Like, I don't know. But the character that we know as Cobra Commander, he has some plans to utilize Energon to send shockwaves across the globe. So that's really cool in itself.
It kind of gives him, you see why they may have a leg up on some things if he's got this new power source.
Yeah, and it's just kind of cool the way they seem to be working G.I. Joe, or I'm sorry, Transformers into the formation of G.I. Joe and Cobra. Like, that's pretty cool. So we'll have to see like what his plans are. What does he want to do with the Energon?
Maybe the Decepticons are like, hey, we want some of that.
Yeah.
You know, you can see where they'll end up crossing over too.
Yeah.
With that.
So this says, who is Cobra Commander? Where does he come from? What horrors is he planning to unleash that will rock the world and maybe the universe to its core? And then there was a line in the solicitation that says this is the second of 4 action-packed miniseries. And I don't know. Like, if the first one is Duke and then this one is the second, well, I don't know what the other two are.
Said anything about it.
There's nothing else. So I just thought that little line was interesting because maybe that's a tease that there is more coming. I don't know. And you know what I just noticed on the cover too, just like on the cover to Duke #1, Starscream is kind of up there in the background. Well, that's the Ark.
Yeah.
That's the Autobots Ark in the background there. So that's really cool too.
Yeah, they're not shying away from the connection between
Oh yeah, yeah. They're going full speed ahead with, hey, this is all in one universe and they're going to meet up and things are going to happen. So, but it all starts, or at least the Cobra side of it, all starts right here with Cobra Commander #1. So don't miss that. Transformers is fantastic. Yeah. I'm sure Duke is going to be great. Void Rivals has been good too, and I have high hopes for this one as well.
And Cobra Commander are both written by Joshua Williams.
That's right.
Who we're a huge fan of over here with Superman and
Green Lantern.
Green Arrow.
Green Arrow, yeah, that's
right. Just tons of good stuff. So I am sure this is going to continue to be fantastic. And there are some preview pages out for this, specifically in this week's Transformers #3. There is a couple of preview pages just to give you a taste of what this book's going to be like. And let me tell you, Cobra Commander, he doesn't go light in it.
Nope.
He's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So this is not your Saturday morning adventures version. This is a pretty PG-13 version of Cobra Commander.
Yeah, definitely. So this is your A cover right here. We also have a David Aja cover, and then there is a blank sketch variant as well.
Very cool. I wonder if is he always going to be the helmet, or is he going to get the heads,
the hood? I like the helmet better.
Yeah, I like the helmet. Okay, next up we have Jackpot #1. Now this is going to be a one-shot. This is by Celeste Bronfim and Joey Vasquez. And we just saw, or a little while back, we saw Mary Jane don her Jackpot suit in Amazing Spider-Man 31. Now she's had these powers for a little while. They have to do with like her gauntlet thing.
Yeah.
That is kind of she gets random powers and based on luck and all of that. But this can be a one-shot throwing Mary Jane into the fray of gang war, which is a pretty big. She hasn't quite taken on this level of thing as this new character, so it's going to be cool to see how she integrates herself into this fight. But we do know coming up next year we have the Jackpot and Black Cat.
That's right.
series.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is maybe setting the stage for that later on, but getting you more familiar with Mary Jane in her new superhero persona as Jackpot. So I'm very excited about this. I think it sounds really cool. We don't know a whole lot about it. Being a one shot, I think this is a lot of just getting you familiar with her powers and kind of her place in the Marvel Universe now. But very excited for this. We've got this A cover. This is really nice. This is, I believe, by Villalobos. Then we have an EJIKURE variant. We've got a Elizabeth Torque variant. And we have a BALDARI variant as well. So I'm very excited. I love Mary Jane. She's one of my favorite
she's great.
Marvel characters. So I can't wait to see what she does.
Next is John Constantine Hellblazer, Dead in America. This is number 1 of an 8-issue series. This is written by Cy Spurrier. The art is by Aaron Campbell. And in this one, Constantine has cheated death, but his heart isn't beating and his flesh is decaying. And you can see that on the cover. That sounds terrible. He, his friend Nat, and his son Noah are on the run in America because they're wanted for murder. But Dream is also in this, and Dream needs John's help because there is something using the sand from his pouch to impose its will on America. So there's a whole lot of, John's like, hey, I'm wanted for murder. I'm trying to lay low, but Dream's over here wanting me to get in the mix of stuff. So don't miss this if you're a big Constantine Hellblazer Sandman fan. Yeah, like this sounds like it's got everything that you will enjoy. So this is our A cover right here. We also have a JOCK cover, which is really cool, and a Sean Phillips cover as well.
You can see where he is missing his heart.
That's right. I guess that's why it's not beating, because it's not there.
It's not there. That would explain it. Next up, we have Star Wars THRAWN Alliances #1. So this is an adaptation of the second of the newer THRAWN books written by Timothy Zahn. This is going to be kind of adapted by Jody Hauser, and the art is by Andrea DeVito and Pat Olive. And I'm very excited about this. So the books are very dense. If you've ever read any of Timothy Zahn's Star Wars books, they are very world building, a lot of characters and everything. So I'm very excited to see this kind of in a visual form for people like me who may have a harder time reading the density of the books.
I need pictures to go with my words.
Yeah, I've read the first one in the novel series, but I'm excited to read these in comic book form as well. And this one's really interesting. So if you're not familiar with the story that was originally in the comic, this it goes between 2 time frames. One of them is during the Clone Wars, where Thrawn and it involves Thrawn, Anakin, and Padme goes missing on the planet Batuu, which is the one in Disney World and Disneyland. And Anakin goes there to get her back, look for her and everything. But in the other time, we have Thrawn teaming up with Darth Vader to investigate a disturbance in the Force on Batuu. So it's going to kind of mirror each other, but I also feel like it's going to have the origin of maybe how Thrawn knows that Anakin is later Darth Vader because he's such a tactician. He kind of sees the similarities and everything. So I'm really excited about this. It's going to be a mini series. I hope they keep adapting these. So I think this is a great way to get other people very familiar with Thrawn and see some of his early career before the Ahsoka show and all this stuff to come. So Star Wars THRAWN Alliances #1. We've got this nice A cover. We also have the promo variant, which I love.
Yeah,
this
that's a good one.
This makes him look very, more tactical. You see him always like really like clean and everything. This is a more like on the ground Thrawn. Then we have the TAURIN CLARKE variant. And then next up, doing a double Star Wars feature, we have Star Wars Visions by Takashi Okazaki. and this continues. We had the Peach Momoko one come out not that long ago, and this continues our story actually from a couple of previous ones. So if you're familiar with the first episode of the first season of Star Wars Visions, the Ronin, where we met this Jedi Ronin in kind of a uh, pseudo Japanese historical Star Wars setting. It was really cool. And then we got a comic about this Ronin in a Visions one shot that came later. Now we're returning to this Ronin character for his third story. And in this one, we look back at his past. How did he become this Ronin? And what is his connection to the Sith? Because we kind of learn he may be a little closer to the dark side than the light. So we're going to see some of that. And I'm very excited about it. I love this setting. It's so unique. You know, it's not canon with the main Star Wars universe, but it's kind of building its own little canon in of itself in this really cool environment. So that is Star Wars Visions Takashi Okazaki #1. And this is just a one shot, but I imagine we're going to see more of this character in the future. So this is our A cover for that. And then we have a really cool Stan Sakai variant.
That's really cool.
Just love his take on it. It's such a cool mashup of things.
Yeah. Next is Zorro, Man of the Dead. This is the first issue of a 4-issue miniseries. This is Sean Gordon Murphy's next book. Was this kickstarted originally?
It was kickstarted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think it's already been out there in some form.
I think it came out in like a single graphic novel form, but not individual issues.
Could have been, and now it's with Massive, who's the publishing arm of whatnot. So this is described as Don Quixote meets Narcos. Now this is actually set in modern day. When I first heard about this, I was like, okay, it's a Zorro story, but no, this is modern day Zorro. There is a young man named Diego, just like classic Zorro. He's convinced that he's Zorro. And as a child, he suffered a psychotic break when he witnessed the murder of his parents. I wonder, we've heard that before, right? Not saying that Zorro came first, though. Yeah, so I mean,
Batman was coming out.
Yeah, so
when his parents died.
But so I'm not trying to say one's anyway. But to cope with the trauma, he embraced the 200-year-old legend of Zorro and trained with a sword. He donned a mask, and now he has declared war on the Narcos for the sake of his people. So, if you like Sean Gordon Murphy's Batman stuff, now he's doing Zorro stuff, and they are similar.
Yeah, and this is a thing that he's talked about for a long time wanting to do. He's a big Zorro fan, and I think you're going to see a lot of his style come through in here, because there's also we've seen some concept images of big cars and stuff that he's riding. And of course, if it's Sean Murphy, there's going to be some cool engines and all of that involved.
Yeah, very cool. So that's our A cover right there. We've got a Libra Mayho variant. Oh, he's on a motorcycle. Yeah. We've got a Scalera movie poster variant. That one looks really good. I love movie poster looking covers. There's an Albuquerque variant. There is a Ruan variant, and then there is a Ramos black and white variant.
Yeah, Humberto Ramos.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's weird seeing Zorro on a car or in a car or on a motorcycle. Like he should be riding a horse.
Next up, we have Cable #1. So this is a new Cable. I couldn't tell if it was a miniseries or ongoing. I'm guessing this is a miniseries.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Kind of how all of the Fall of X books are. This is going to be written by classic writer of many X-Men titles, Fabian Nicieza, who was one of your original creators of Deadpool and Cable and that whole era of mutants. And the art is by Scott Eaton. And this is going to be cool because this is actually going to see old Cable teamed up with young Cable. I don't remember when they brought older Cable back, but for a while, he was gone.
Yeah, too long ago that he came back.
I'm really excited because Cable is one of my favorite X-Men characters. He embodies the 90s comics in one character. But it's cool because he's going to have to save young Cable because something is coming that threatens to destroy the already crippled mutant kind, and it's up to, I guess, Cables to source where the coming threat is. All the while, Orcus is, growing in power and looming just in the off to the side. So they're gonna have to operate now that Orcus is, basically, if you're a mutant, they're coming after you.
Yeah.
So how's he going to deal with this? We'll have to see. But I think this sounds really cool. I love Cable by a classic X-Men scribe. So that is Cable #1. Great A cover here. Then we also have the CF Villa Stormbreakers variant.
I like that one too.
It's really
I love
cool.
CF Villa's. He's killing it on Avengers right now.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. Okay, next up we have other number ones, just continuing the goodness with all these number ones. Starting with
This is Power Pack Into the Storm, and I believe this is a one shot. If it's not, don't hold me to it, but I think it is. I thought I saw that it was. But this is from your classic Power Pack creative team of Louise Simonson and June Brigman, so that's pretty cool. In this story, Franklin Richards, who is a friend to Power Pack, he has a premonition of a galactic threat hurtling towards Earth. And Power Pack, they're kids with powers, and they're trying to not let their parents know they have powers. But in this one, they are going to have to decide, are they going to take on this threat? What kind of heroes do they want to be? And what are they willing to give up along the way in order to do this, in order to do what needs to be done, right? So if you're a Power Pack fan, don't miss this one because this is a new book, but classic feeling, classic creative team, all that kind of stuff. So we have our A cover right here, and then we have a Baldari variant as well.
Very cool. And I love seeing Louise Simonson back. Like she is these characters.
Yeah.
So very cool. Next up, we have Disney Villains Cruella de Vil. So we talked about this on a previous show, but it got postponed. So now we're talking about it again, just to remind you to pre-order it. So Cruella de Vil is, this takes place after the original 101 Dalmatians, and she wasn't convicted of the crime of trying to steal 101 Dalmatian puppies, but it still really put a black mark on her career. So she is at her lowest, but she saw an opportunity to work her way back to the top of the fashion world, and that might involve stealing the royal family's priceless jewels. So Cruella is not above doing some dastardly things to get ahead. This is going to be by Sweeney Boo writing it, and Mariana Puglia. So it's fun. If you are enjoying the Disney villain stuff, this is just sounds like another great addition to that. Some great covers here. Always surprising to see these Disney characters done by artists who you kind of know their style.
Right.
You see it wildly different. So this is the Sweeney Boo cover. We also have a Joshua Middleton cover, which is very different for Joshua Middleton. We have a Lusky variant, really fun. We have an action figure variant.
I like that one.
I like the different heads it comes with and stuff. And then we have a blank cover too. If you put a couple dots on there, you can have your own Dalmatian cover.
Right.
Easy as that.
All right, next is a new one from Boom called Pine and Merrimack. This is the first of a 5-issue miniseries written by Kyle Starks. The art is by Fran Gallen, who I believe did that cover too. So that might be what the inside of the book looks like. So this sounds like a really cool sort of detective story mixed with supernatural things too. So this is about a former homicide detective named Lenny Kent. He and her husband, who is a former MMA fighter, and that's them on the cover there, they move out of the busy city into a small town to open a detective agency. They're wanting to get rid of the hustle and bustle of the big city, and they just want a small town with easy cases and just a quiet life. And at the beginning, the little easy, simple cases that they get in this little simple town, that's exactly what they were looking for. But over time, they're going to learn that there is more to this quaint town than they could have imagined. And maybe that's not necessarily supernatural.
No.
But I don't know, Boom does so much supernatural stuff. I feel like maybe there's something there.
It feels very Fargo and Twin Peaksy. That kind of like small town detective, which I really like that.
Yeah, and I guess there was another note. It's a small town with simple people and one horrifying secret that could change everything. I skipped that line in my notes, so I don't know why I'm thinking supernatural, but maybe not. But there's something. There's something more sinister just beneath the surface that we'll have to read through the series to find out what it is. But it sounds fun. Like it sounds like another hit from Boom. They do these kinds of books all the time.
Kyle Starks is a great writer.
Yeah, so they always come out really good. So this is the A cover. We have a Henderson variant, and then we have an FOC reveal variant from Jay Lee.
That's cool. It's very like Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got notable 2s and 3s, continuing a big series we want to make sure you didn't miss out on, starting with Somna number 2. This sold like crazy at our store. This did fantastic, and everyone who read it really enjoyed it. It had such a cool tone to it, using Becky Cloonan's art and Tula Ote's art. both writing and drawing the book. It's just fantastic. Just continuing the story set in the 1600s. You're in the witch hunt. We have our main character Ingrid, who's being drawn deeper into this dark seduction of this shadowy figure that definitely is not a good thing.
For sure.
But it is sort of liberating in this time. But is that all going to change when a witch hunter comes to town? We'll have to see. But I really enjoyed the first issue. I'm looking forward to these next ones. So we have our A cover here by Tuilote, and these are all wraparound covers too.
Oh yeah.
So this is the of that. We also have the Becky Cloonan cover. We have this Christian Ward variant. And just like the first one, there is a polybagged cover as well. Unfortunately, it does not come in the brown paper sack.
Right, yeah.
That I just wish, it just seems like a fun idea.
One day.
One day.
One day it's going to happen. All right, so next is Daredevil Black Armor number 3. We have not gotten number 2 yet, but number 1 has come out, and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And there's not a lot of story details on this issue in particular. It just says friends and foes become embroiled in the battle for their lives beneath the streets of Hell's Kitchen. But just in case you don't know, this is set back in the past when Daredevil was wearing the black and red armor in the 90s. It's set back then, and it's written by it's done by the same creative team it's written by DG Chichester, who is the writer, who was the writer of the original, and the art is fantastic too.
You say it's the black and red armor, but it's like, yeah, but the shoulder pads.
Well, he's got some like silver armor bits too.
That's the selling point.
Yeah, but I love the first issue, so yeah, if you did too, don't miss this one. This is our A cover, and then we have a Kevin Eastman variant too, which is really cool seeing.
Yeah, not final art, so I'm guessing it's gonna be color.
Color, yeah.
Just, I mean, having Eastman draw Daredevil is just full circle.
Every time I see that, I'm like, we're so close to that Daredevil Ninja Turtles crossover that we deserve.
Essentially, those ninjas right there are the foot.
That's right. That's right.
Next up, we got Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099, issue number 3. Continuing this, it's very interesting, and we haven't got issue number 1 yet, right?
That's right.
So, hope it's good, because we're moving on to issue number 3, but I think this is going to be great, because it seems like they're really capitalizing on some of the horror elements of Marvel. We saw Dracula in the last one, and this one, Meet the Werewolf by Night 2099. So Miguel's going to have to go up against that. And this is an over-the-top monster mash that is celebrating the legacy 100th issue of Spider-Man 2099.
Oh.
So very cool in there to, even little Spider-Man 2099 has hit 100 issues. So very cool in there. And if you're excited about this, don't miss out, even though we've not got the first issue yet. This is our A cover for that. And then we have the Mark Bagley homage cover.
That's
which
great.
Actually just looks like the original cover.
All right, so next is Punisher number 3. We have not gotten number 2 yet, but number 1 came out a couple weeks back, and I thought it was pretty good. The story details on this one are a little bit light too, but it does say enter the Fear Master. So it sounds like we might be getting a new villain, and the Punisher is going to have to face down the one threat that can't be stopped by bombs or bullets, and that is the terrors inside his own mind. So didn't really get any indication. Well, I guess maybe, the death of his family. That could be part of it. But yeah, so if you like the first one and you're waiting for the second one, here is the third one as well. We have our A cover right here, and then we have one of the Wolverine, probably the most ridiculous Wolverine variant we've seen so far, but still fun.
Yeah. I feel like they're being really cagey with the solicitations for this because there's still more to learn about this character and stuff. Sure. So they're kind of keeping it surface level, but I've got to imagine there's some mysteries to this character we don't know yet.
I did get that feeling with the first issue because he's quite similar to Frank Castle, and with his family dying and him being an ex-Shield agent, I was like, there's got to be more that we have yet to learn.
Next up, we have Spider-Woman, issue number 3. We have got issue number 1 of this, not issue number 2, but we're continuing on with the story as Jessica Drew continues her gang war tie-in stuff. She's going after Diamondback, who possibly took her child. We don't quite know the connection.
No, I was really confused by that, if I'm being honest. Like, her baby is missing, and I think she remembers, but it seems like nobody else does, and there was this whole web of life thing when the child was missing. So I'm a little confused
that's why
on
we
that.
need issue 2 and 3 to explain more of this. But it was a very intriguing issue number 1, and I just love Spider-Woman getting her own thing.
For sure.
Fantastic character. So this is our A cover. And then, of course, she has an homage cover as well.
That's a good one. So next is White Widow #3. We have not gotten the second issue yet, but the first issue came out a while back. I really liked it. And the solicitation for this actually doesn't have any information about this issue specifically. It just kind of summarizes the plot of the entire miniseries about a mega corporation named Armament who is kind of taking over the small town that Yelena moved into in order to get away from all the craziness. And you know, so the crux of it is she is trying to learn who they are, why they're taking over her town, that kind of thing. So I don't know what's going to happen in this issue specifically, but you know that's the gist of the overall miniseries. And if you like the first one, and if you're waiting on the second one, don't miss the third one. This is our A cover, and then we have a Sawi variant as well. I like that one. That's
like
very
the
kind of
anime look on it.
anime manga looking. I like that.
Okay, so we got Superior Spider-Man #3. Very excited about this. Don't have issue 2 yet. So
But issue #1 was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
loved
great.
it. Yes.
And I'm really interested in this one because the solicitation and everything doesn't say too much other than like the spider base will be reactivated and everybody's gearing up because Superior Spider-Man's going to war. But the whole time I'm like, yeah, but he's not Superior Spider-Man.
Right.
He's still Doc Ock kind of wanting that Superior Spider-Man. So we'll have to see. This is another series with a lot of mysteries and a lot of questions of like how will it all come together. But enjoying the ride. I can't wait for the next issue. So that is Superior Spider-Man #3. And then we also have the Cola Wolverine, as they call it, the Wolverine variant.
I like that a lot. All right, so this is Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees #3. Did the second issue?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, so we haven't got the.
But the #1 was
yeah, it was really good too. It was really creepy. So I'm gonna read you the full solicitation because they did it in the form of a rhyme, and it's really good. So, and they did it like in it's like 6 verses. So it says, as Woodbrook quakes in terror, the killer runs free. The town now plans a funeral instead of festivity. Sam has her suspicions. She'll follow her hunch. She better act fast or more bones might go crunch. But Sam isn't afraid. She knows she'll solve the case because the killer doesn't know it, but they left a trace. So that's the entire solicitation, and I love how it was done because, like we said before, this book on the surface seems so cutesy. Oh, there's just cutesy little bear creatures talking and living in the city and stuff. But it's not for kids. There's blood and murder and all kinds of stuff. The first issue was great. I can't wait to read the next one. So yeah. And #3 right here is, I'm sure it's going to be great. And that's our A cover. We have our Riley Rossmo variant as well.
I love all these that look like little storybooks.
Yeah, that also look terrifying.
Yeah, very
blood on her hands and.
And next up, we got G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. So I know in this section we talk about issue 2s and 3s, but this is issue 303, so close enough.
I mean, it's the 3rd issue of the new launching of.
I can justify it in my head.
And we also don't have.
We also don't have 302 yet.
That's right.
But we did see a little bit with what's going on with Serpentor in #1. He's got this crazy, I guess, bioweapon that's turned people into zombie
sort of
things.
Kind of.
Yeah, but not a whole lot said about this issue other than Serpentor has a surprise for the Joes, like he always does. But I'm very excited to continue reading this. I really like issue #1, and I'm excited to see kind of the continuation since that issue #1 was kind of they're thrown into the middle of the chaos. Let's start seeing like what is the master plan in this.
And in case you don't know, this is not part of the Energon universe, so it's separate from Transformers and Duke and Cobra Commander. This is just the continuation of the Real American Hero line of G.I. Joe books.
Yes. But still check it out. Oh, yeah. Especially the art is just fantastic.
Yeah, one was really fun. It looked good. Like, I was on board.
And we also have a black and white version.
So it just sucks right out of it.
Sucks right out of Serpentor. Maybe that's his surprise for the Joes. It's going to take their color.
Next is Creep Show Volume 2, #5. This is the last issue of the 2nd volume of Creep Show. One of my favorites. And this is keeping the same format. 2 different stories. One's called Burning Ambition. A politician tries to protect the youth from dangerous comic books. And then there's another story called Keep It Fed. It's the story of a boy who sacrifices the things that he loves to feed the monsters under his bed. So I'm picturing, I love my my comic book. I love my action figure. I love my dog. I love my mom. I love so
Yeah.
normally that sounds terrible, but it's Creep Show, and there are no limits in the
Yeah.
Creep Show book. So can't wait for this. I love Creep Show. That's the A cover by Gilliam March, and then there is a Toplin variant as well.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Also, this wasn't a 2 or 3, but it was a volume 2.
That's
So
right.
maybe that's good enough.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Deviant number 3. We have not got issue 2 of this.
There's a theme in this section.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like the holidays have kind of thrown off some of the weeks, so we're getting a lot of like later on books. And issue number 1 was really good of this. I'm very interested to see what happens with this kind of holiday killer who has resurfaced, even though the original one's still in jail. It's James Tynion. If you read number 1, you know what you're in for. And just continuing on, and this is a 9-issue miniseries.
Oh wow!
Interesting number. Miniseries, but yeah, don't miss out on this as it just is gearing up. And we also have the variant for this. This is the Boss variant, which is kind of a scene from the first issue where the lady stumbled upon a very uncomfortable scene in a mall.
Yeah, that's creepy. Just a lone Santa in the back of a dark room and
some blood on the floor.
Yeah, blood on the floor for sure.
And next up, we have cool covers. But before we get to this, just a reminder to head over to infinityflux.net where you can pre-order these books we are talking about so you don't miss out. We love it at our stores when people pre-order. It gives us better ideas of how many to order so no one misses out. No one comes in the store and is disappointed by not having the stuff. Just make sure everyone gets what they want, and everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of. And our undying gratitude.
Yep.
Also, just a reminder, subscribe to our channel if you like the content we're bringing, you like positive looks at comics. We're always going to be talking about how much we love comics, not how much we hate comics. That's just a big thing for us. We love comics.
We do.
So, continuing on, we have our cool covers, starting with
Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong number 4. We have not gotten number 3 yet, but we do have number 2, so we broke that streak. In this, okay, so this one sounds cool because it's Aquaman and Atlantis confronting an otherworldly Leviathan. So we're gonna get Aquaman fighting a big monster. Issue number 2. I feel like these issues are gonna be like issue number 2 was Superman fighting Godzilla in Metropolis and the Bat family fighting a big bat creature in Gotham. I feel like the issue number 3 is going to be like Wonder Woman fighting a big monster and maybe like, I can't remember who else, like Flash. I feel like each issue is going to be a couple of different characters fighting some sort of big monster, and this one is going to be Aquaman, so that's going to be cool. While that's going on, the Legion of Doom are plotting their next move to eliminate the Justice League, and the emergence of the League of Shadows could spell doom for the world. Oh, yeah, so
really, it involves a lot of characters.
There's a lot of leagues, a lot of legions, a lot of big monsters. There's a lot going on, but it's super fun. The second issue was so much fun. A lot of big splashy moments. Exactly what a comic book should be, and I have no doubt this
moment where Godzilla shot his blast and Superman with his his heat vision. Yeah. Smashing in the middle. Yeah, that's just all you need.
Yep. So there's our A. Oh, no, that's a Portatio. That's the B cover, and then there's also a C cover, also by Whilce Portatio.
So you kind of keep doing this like a Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah.
So very cool. But it won't have all these like edges like this. This is kind of art before it's finished.
Yeah, this is a little bit unfinished. Yeah.
And next up, I can't wait for this. This sounds awesome. So this is Superman number 10. I actually wrote on my notes, yeehaw, Bruno Redondo on art. So if you're a fan of Bruno Redondo and his work on Nightwing, well, he is stepping over to do a little story arc on Superman, where Superman is going back in time to Old West times in Metropolis, which we've actually done before. There was a series called The Kents a long time ago that was about like the Kents in Smallville and Metropolis back when it was more Old West. When this one, Superman is teamed up with Marilyn Moonlight to learn why she haunts the city. So Sounds really cool. If Superman does not look like this in the issue, I'm going to be upset
That's
because
right.
I want to see Cowboy Superman with this like full duster.
Well, don't forget we saw at the very end of issue number 1,
Uh-huh.
those like 4 images, like sort of hinting what's coming. One of them was him on a horse,
Yeah.
and it looked like he had a hat, a cowboy hat
Well,
on.
let's hope so.
And you know, credit to Joshua Williamson because this is issue 10, and he gave us a teeny tiny hint of this back in issue number 1.
Yeah.
So I love when stuff like that
Yeah,
happens.
very cool.
Yeah.
Also, McFarlane make a figure of this Cowboy Superman.
Yep.
I would love that.
Include a horse.
Include a horse.
So he can ride.
A horse. Like he has a horse. He has a white horse
That's right.
also has superpowers. Give him that. So this is our A cover. This is by Jamal Campbell. And then we have a Bermejo variant, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Which is there any chance he could run into Jonah Hex? Could we please have Jonah Hex in this?
Maybe.
And then we also have a Bruno Redondo variant, which I just think this one's really fun.
Yeah. We love the main Superman book here. Like this book is great. So if you're looking to jump on Superman, get this book because it's phenomenal. Like it's the best that Superman has been in decades.
Yeah.
All right, so this this is Nightwing number 110. This is a Beast World tie-in.
How can we not show this cover?
Right. The heroes have become threats because of the Beast World stuff, and one of the biggest threats now stalks Bloodhaven. I don't know who that is or what they look like now. And then the last line of the solicitation, or not, one of the lines in the solicitation says, "Where once was a robin, now there is a cat." And you can see that right there on the cover. So just super fun.
What's that mean?
Yeah, Nightwing has some really creative covers, and they just keep coming. So yeah, that is our Bruno Redondo A cover. But then there's a Dan Mora variant as well. I guess maybe that's
Batman.
Yeah, that's the threat. Well, and we've seen Batman look like that on the cover of Beast World number 3 coming out soon. Yeah, that's Batman.
There's another one. McFarlane, make that Batman figure because that would be an awesome deluxe one. Next up, we have Titans number 7, and you see some weird things going on here. A little Garo action with this. This is the Bernard
Very
Chang.
nice, well done.
That's why they call him in the book.
I thought that was all you.
No, they call him Garo.
You should take credit for that.
I should. But in this one, Brother Eternity is showing his true self, which we always knew would happen as Brother Blood, and the Titans try to save Tempest's soul. I really hope they can find some redemption for Tempest. I mean, he's not the one who's been doing this. He was under some kind of control. But I love him as a character. I would love to add him to the Titans roster. And we have this fantastic cover as the Beast World story continues. And there's no Beast World book or tie-in issue on this.
But these books fill those slots.
Yeah, so Titans will be kind of the continuation there.
All right, so Wonder Woman number 5, continuing to love this book as well. Sergeant Steele retreats to gather deadlier forces because you just can't stop Wonder Woman, right? She fought a big chunk of the military a couple issues ago, so yeah. But the Wonder Girls beg Diana to lay down her lasso. So I don't really know, like, is that Cassie? Is that Yara Flor? Like, I don't know which Wonder Girls they're talking about. And then in the backup story with Trinity invites Damien and John to Themyscira for a contest they'll never forget. So continuing to love Trinity and that backup of her in the last issue where Damien was babysitting her, that was hilarious. So yeah, just a fantastic series from Tom King, and this is the next issue. This is the Julian Tedesco variant.
Yeah, very cool. Very ripped Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And next up, I just love this cover. This is for Batman Brave and the Bold number 9. I just wanted to show off this cover as it's kind of an homage to Batman the Animated Series. And this is also by Bruno Redondo, so he's just killing it over at DC.
Daredevil number 5, loving this new series. Now, this starts a new story arc, although I think there might still be a few leftover plot threads from the first arc that still aren't done by this. But I love it. Not a whole lot of details in the solicitation, but it does say that it features an all-new villain for Daredevil to take down. So, we'll have to wait and see who that is. Maybe a first appearance. But this cover is the Hildebrandt Marvel Masterpieces variant. So, if you remember the card, I think I still have mine from when I was a kid. And they came out when Daredevil was wearing that armor. So this should be a Daredevil black armor cover, right? But this is just a Daredevil cover. And then there is the Wolverine. I
love this one.
Yeah,
this is so cool.
Yeah, that's they They've done such a good job with these, putting Wolverine into classic covers.
Yeah. And then
There's
next
another
up,
one.
we have Amazing Spider-Man number 42. Just want to show this Hildebrandt Spider-Man cover that's super cool based on the trading card. And not much to say about the issue, just that this continues the Gang War storyline that we just kind of got into with this last issue of Amazing Spider-Man. So very interested to see how that plays out. And yep, this is our Hildebrandt Masterpieces 3 variant. And we also have a Wolverine variant. Great homage there.
Seems like he could just like cut the rope. You know?
He could cut the rope, and what is Sabretooth flying on? Like a little drone, or is he giant? Are they all giant? He's on a plane.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a Sabretooth glider instead of a Goblin glider.
I would have done it and it had like little claws coming, like toys.
That
would have been cool. Around the character.
Next is Fantastic Four, number 16. This is the Wolverine variant featuring different iterations of Wolverine, homaging the first issue of Fantastic Four. This one sounds really fun, though, because there is a teacher that shares a list of inventions for a list of inventions that scientists from the 1600s hoped future generations would one day make, and I guess haven't. So Valeria and Franklin decide to go for bonus points and check off some of those boxes and make some of those inventions that haven't been made yet. So
that's pretty fun.
So that sounds like a lot of fun, just like the rest of this series has been. And yeah, you've got this cool Wolverine variant to go with it.
Yeah, it's for Chad Hardin too, who I really like, and had a great run on Harley Quinn. Next up, we have Marvel Gods number 4. This is the Massive Horror variant. And if I tried to describe this book, I would go insane. So, just want to show this cool cover, and I'm sure we'll be talking about on the show as we try to break down what is going on with the Gods title. It's very interesting, but it's very weird.
Still a lot of questions.
There's a lot of questions, but I like this cover a lot.
Next is Guardians of the Galaxy number 10. This is the Luciano Vecchio ROM variant. It'd be cool to see ROM just like meet up with the Guardians.
Like just fits right in.
It could happen. This says the battle of the branch worlds begins. The flowering of the Groot space is almost upon us, and Empress Victoria and the Spartax Armada show up to stop.
And next up, we have Immortal Thor number 6. This is the Wolverine variant for that one. This is by Magno, and this issue actually sounds really cool because it is the story of young Immortal Thor's first journey into mystery.
Okay.
So kind of playing with that journey into mystery.
What if we're gonna get a shot of him twirling the hammer like on the cover?
Yeah. So, but this is the Wolverine cover for that, which is just very fun.
Next is Invincible Iron Man number 14.
This is the A cover, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, is that by Cale New? Like all the covers to this has looked like that. It's been great. Tony Stark needs more than just armor to defeat Orcus. He needs an army. Can Ironheart build one in time? And then who will answer the call? So Forge is on the cover.
You're set.
Well, if you read the last issue, maybe you know why. Maybe you already saw Forge. So I don't want to spoil the end of this previous issue, but. Yeah, Forge shows up. So, he's on the cover too. I've always loved Forge. Like, I love characters who can build and invent things, and that's his power, is to be able to do that. So, so this is a really cool A cover. There is the Hildebrandt Marvel Masterpieces Iron Man variant. I love that armor. And then the Scan ROM variant. ROM could also team up with Iron Man. Yeah,
completely. He just fits in everywhere. Next up, we've got some Star Wars. We've got Star Wars High Republic number 3, just continuing this new run of High Republic during Phase 3. And in this one, Keeve Trennis, who is kind of our main Jedi that we're following, must board a ship she thought was lost. But is she ready for the ruthlessness of Laura D, who is the Nile Twi'lek that is very dangerous? You'll see on one of the variant covers. So this is our A cover for that. And there's Lorna D, and this is our Annie Wu variant. And next up, I want to talk about Star Wars Bounty Hunters, issue 42. This is the final issue of Star Wars Bounty Hunters. This was one of the first Star Wars series way back when Marvel got them. Bounty Hunters came along not too much later, as I believe it was the 3rd ongoing Star Wars title that Marvel did.
Yeah.
So this has been years and years in the making, and this one sounds great. Final issue, will Valance survive this whole thing? And can he fight his way past Boba Fett and Jabba's secret weapon? So It just sounds really cool. Great cover here.
I love that cover. That's great.
I love how bright it is. Like
Yeah,
stuff going on in the daytime. It's
it's
really
a
neat.
great cover, right?
Yep. So that is our A cover. And then we have our logo variant they've been doing for all of these. And check this out. This is the Walt Simonson
Very
variant, which is an
nice.
homage to Valence's first
Mm.
appearance. So very cool in there.
And then X-Men number 30. This is the Peach Momoko variant with Rom. Maybe he's going to show up in all these books. Who knows? He's getting around the Marvel Universe. But Mutant Kind is facing off against Orcus, obviously, all the Fall of X stuff. But while they're doing that, other forgotten foes come out of the woodwork to take on the X-Men. And Sync and Talon find themselves besieged by the High Evolutionary in his creation. So we're going to get a little High Evolutionary action in there.
Cool.
Very cool, yeah.
And this last issue was great that came out this week with Doctor Doom and his mutants. Just check it out. Yeah, that was a great issue.
So you get Doom in one issue, the next issue you get High Evolutionary.
Yeah, all the villains are
all the villains are coming out. Red Skull maybe pop up in one. Who knows?
And next up, we've got graphic novels and more, including reprints and facsimiles and all that good stuff, starting with X-Men number 4 facsimile edition, which is the first appearance of Scarlet Witch. It's funny that she was called Scarlet Witch and she was green on the cover.
Yeah.
And Quicksilver and the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, but a lot of people really like this issue because of first Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. If you never read this, get the facsimile edition. It's got all the original ads, all that good stuff coming out.
We've also got the Amazing Spider-Man number 252 facsimile edition. This is the book where there's a little bit of a debate about the first appearance of the symbiote because like this and Secret Wars number 8 came out right around the same time and which one came first, that kind of thing. But this is the issue where Spider-Man first brings the symbiote back to Earth after Secret Wars. And this, just like all facsimiles, has all the original ads and all that stuff.
Yeah, very iconic cover. Next up, we've got Daredevil Black Armor number 1 second printing. I believe we sold out of number 1 at our store. People are really digging this series, like you talked about. We've got issue 3 coming out. We've got issue 2, I'm guessing, within the next week or so. And if you missed out on that, pick up the number 1 second printing.
Yeah, and that cover was the foil cover.
Yeah.
On the first print, and I forgot to mention too, the Amazing Spider-Man. That's a foil cover. The 252 facsimile, that's a foil.
I think pretty much all of Marvel's ones now have the
regular and the foil.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be a great cover in
That's
foil.
nice.
Yeah, okay.
Whenever you think about it, then you're like, oh, but foil.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and this is the Blade trade paperback, volume 1, called Mother of Evil. This collects the first 5 issues of the current Blade series. That is, I don't think it's wrapped up quite yet, but it's going to be $17.99, and the first few issues that I've read have been pretty darn good, and you get the whole thing in one nice book here.
Yeah, I'm glad there's also a new Blade series when people are like, oh, I want to read some Blade.
Yeah.
It's hard to find like a good starting point, so I think this is a great one to recommend to people or buy as a gift for somebody who really likes Blade. I think that's really cool. And next up, we've got Marvelverse, Mary Jane. So these are those Marvelverse books. They're a little shorter. They collect some kind of key issues of characters. I love they're doing this about Mary Jane. I hope we get a lot of other characters too. It seems like they're really spreading out. And this has got stories from Mary Jane, or Spider-Man Loves Mary Jane, Untold Tales of Spider-Man, and Amazing Mary Jane, plus more, all for $9.99. So great introductory to the character. These are all great for that, especially if you have kids who are interested in those characters. These, from everyone I've seen, tend to be very kid-friendly stories, and they cover a wide range of time periods with the character. So if you want to check out Mary Jane, this is a great one to do it.
Yeah, these Marvelverse books, if they had been out when I was a young kid, like before I started collecting comics on a regular weekly, monthly basis, I would have eaten these up. Like these are a little bit smaller, but several stories in one. Like these books are great. I love these.
Yeah, great on a shelf together too. And that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to head over to infinityflux.net where you can pre-order these books we talked about, and you'll have them when they come out delivered right to you or at the store to be picked up. Everything you pre-order you get 10% off of. And thank you. I'm just going to preemptively think that they subscribe and thank them for doing so. That's what Spider-Man would want you to do.
That's right.
He would also subscribe if he could.
What would Spider-Man do? He would subscribe.
He would subscribe to our channel because he loves comics and he loves knowing what he can pick up in the future. So, join us again on Monday Yep.
Yeah, Monday.
Today we'll be going over some of the biggest books coming out that week, so you know what to grab when you head into your store. And until then, we'll see you.
See ya.